right, guys, super pumped to be here today. You are listening to Honest to God on AM 1160, The Quest, Atlanta's Catholic Radio. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're going to have a great show today. This was a repeat of the same topic we did a year ago, coming into All Saints. So I hope everybody had a happy Halloween, because right now, all these shows are live, obviously. Every day, every Saturday, we meet here at 4 o'clock. Which is what time it is currently, and we do a show.
Well, we actually have to get here at 3:30.
We get here at 3:30, right?
Setting up things like that
for this live show that we do every single week, and we're happy to be doing that today, which is All Saints Day. So, did everybody have a happy Halloween yesterday? Was that good?
Yeah. Oh yeah, crazy.
Good?
No one came to my apartment.
Nobody?
I'm on the third floor. So
I live in a little bitty house out in the middle of nowhere, and if somebody came to my door, it would be terrifying for them and for me. Like, it would just be, no one has ever knocked on my door, I don't think.
Did you get your rat situation figured out?
The rat situation? Oh, from last week.
Yeah.
We were talking about this.
Did you get it figured out?
About the same.
About the same. You're living there. Wow.
No, we're not back there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I parked in the driveway to watch the front door to make sure nobody knocked on it. That's how I know.
Okay.
Because that was a week ago.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited about this episode,
ago.
though. A month ago?
Yeah, because October 1st.
Yes.
It was Trez.
Whoa, that was wild.
Yeah.
I think it's already been a month.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Time flies. I wear the same outfit just to commemorate.
Yeah, I also wear the same outfit for months at a time. All right, so I'm really excited. This is going to be an All Saints Day episode. Once again, one of my favorite episodes that we did last year, where we just sort of dig into the saints. There's a bunch of them. We'll see how obscure we can get.
Can not producer Ben speak for a moment?
Yeah, not producer Ben's here today.
Since this is the All Saints episode, should we...
Make it dark and scary?
Whoa.
How about we do that?
It is amazing what we can do with technology here in the studio.
With
Day
some
to
lights.
night, just like that.
The math that goes into it.
We spare no expense here at AM 1160 The Quest, Atlanta's Catholic Radio. All right, before we get in on the saints, though, I would love for somebody to lead us in prayer. We got anybody who's
I got
willing
you.
and able? You got me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you give me like I can pray vibes, just so you know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, the bar was set kind of low the last time, so
Last month?
Oh, wow.
But I feel like you're
St.
gonna rock
Teresa's little way. We just forgot
we
all
prayed
of that we talked
a little
about.
prayer.
Yeah, it was a little prayer. It was fun.
Not something. It's got to be a big prayer.
Little prayer with great
Humble.
love.
Yeah,
With great
bells
love.
and whistles. It was great.
I'm not
Right.
Byzantine.
In the name
In
of
the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. Come, God the Father. Come, Holy Spirit. Jesus, please come and be with us today. Come rest in our hearts and our minds and guide everything we do. Through the intercession of all the saints, may we just bring praise and glory to them as we celebrate them on this awesome day. Thanks, Jesus. Amen.
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 Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. What a great prayer, Bray.
You drank it great.
And it was topical.
Yeah.
Yeah. All Saints and all that. So that was really, really good. So there is just such a ridiculous amount of stuff to unpack here in regards to the saints. It's always fun when you have these episodes that are just sort of like, what do you want to talk about with this massive topic? And I'm really pumped to do this.
Yeah.
I think that next year we ought to do it live from All Saints Catholic Church. And,
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
But I want to kind of open it up. And were any of you on the last All Saints Day episode? None of you were? Okay, so I would love to kick this off by asking who your patron saint is, who your confirmation saint was, and why. But before I do that, if you're watching, if you're listening, make sure that you like the video right now. Get those likes up, and if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button as well.
Are those going to count as our fun facts?
Leave a
that would be
comment.
fantastic. What's that?
Is that going to count as our fun facts?
It could be your fun fact, Annie.
Okay.
But nobody else's.
Okay, great.
All right. Before we dive into the saints, I wanted to give you that one so that we could percolate on that a little bit. So think about we're gonna open up with our confirmation saint, but first we're gonna start all the way over there with Elsie. 5 fun facts. What you got? Tell us about you. This is your first time. Everybody else is a veteran.
Yeah.
I've never seen you before. This is super exciting.
Yeah, so I'm from KSU. I'm from the Catholic Center. I serve as the co-president right now. I've been there for the past 3 years.
I'm giving a talk at KSU, I think, in a couple of
Oh,
months.
yeah, you are.
That's
Yeah,
so
David asked me to
exciting.
come out there and talk.
Yeah, so you'll see our little house.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's very cozy. So 5 fun facts about me. I am a huge Swiftie. Like,
It's supposed to be fun.
but
Oh, whoa.
Whoa!
You know what?
Factfully.
Taylor Swift.
She doesn't appreciate my
I don't like Taylor
Swiftiness.
Swift.
Did you go to when she was in town recently and
Oh,
ruined
yeah.
traffic and everything? Was that you?
Oh yeah.
She ruined traffic.
So yeah, she did.
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I don't like Taylor Swift.
No. I've said on the show before. I have really off-brand opinions on Taylor Swift, and it's mostly that Fearless is one of the best albums of the 2010s. I really do think it was a phenomenal album. I really liked old Taylor Swift up until like 1989. I really liked like the album, not the year. I really liked Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And now she's fine. It's a little poppy for me, but it's So I'm throwing zero shade at Taylor today.
Yeah. I love every album, so
Okay, that's good. That's great. Are all your fun facts going to be Taylor Swift related?
they could,
Okay.
but no. So another fun fact is I own over 20 houseplants. I
Nice.
love my little houseplants.
That's cool.
Yeah. I also have a dog that I rescued when I was 18. Her name
Nice.
is Daisy.
What kind of dog?
She's a little yellow lab mix, I think.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, she's just the sweetest thing ever. I love her so much.
We'll invite you on the show because we've been talking about doing honest to God but for dogs for a long time.
Just
Where
a
it's gonna
dog show.
be
That would
just
be
dogs
so
in all the
cute.
seats.
But she's really shy with people. So
Yeah, well, good because we'll never.
It'll
actually
all
do
be
that.
dogs right here, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, we're gonna have a dog sitting in the producer seat over there.
she loves other dogs, but like other people, absolutely not.
Okay.
Especially children. I don't know what it is. It's really sad, but we can't go to the park because she hears a child laughing and she's like, "Someone's gonna kill me."
Aw,
That's so
poor
sad.
Daisy. Yeah.
I know, but it's okay. Yeah. So another thing about me is one of my favorite pastimes is painting. I'm not really good. I just like to do it.
I have
It's really relaxing.
I had a student, a senior in high school, paint me a portrait of myself
Wow.
riding a lion.
Wow.
Holding an American flag with an eagle flying by. I'm not kidding. It's a
Wow.
really good painting, and it's at my office right now.
That's amazing.
And I was the model for he's not a saint, but for Peter of Brussels, who's a scholastic Dominican scholar. And there's a giant portrait of Peter of Brussels hanging up in Dominican House of Studies in Maryland. And it's literally me with a tonsure in a Dominican habit, like writing something while a dog rips up
I can
William
see
of
that.
Occam's books on the ground. Yeah.
I could picture that
Really
right
cool.
now.
I got a print. I was paid for it by getting a signed print. It's really cool.
Wow.
I had 2 hours of modeling in my Dominican habit. It was neat.
Yeah. My final one, this is kind of weird, kind of random. So I have a huge family, like maybe over like 40, almost 50 first
Right.
cousins. And I would say there's maybe 4 boys out of all
Whoa,
of
really?
that. Yeah.
Whoa.
I feel that.
All girls.
Yeah.
I have 1 son and 4 daughters.
Added
So-
another one. There you go.
So girlhood is not foreign to me. I
Okay.
am a girl's girl.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. I like it. All right. That's,
That's so
awesome.
fun.
You're easy. All the rest of you guys are just one.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Brie, what you got?
When I was in 5th grade, I was very competitive. I still am. Thus, I decided I can keep up with the guys when we play basketball.
Okay.
So I go and I play basketball at recess, and I twisted my ankle, and then I ended up having to be in a cast because I broke it. However, it gets more fun. I don't like to sit still. So I was at our little spring fair, and I was on crutches because I had a broken foot and a cast. And I was like, "Mom, look at this cool thing I can do." And I go to kick a soccer ball, and I fall off of my crutches, and I had to get a cast put on my wrist. So
Same side of the
yeah,
other side.
same side.
Nice.
So I had a cast on my ankle and my wrist at the same time, and I was like, "Wow, this was not a good idea." But then I
Cool.
still
All right. I
wanted
like
to,
that.
so, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I've never broken a major bone.
Me neither.
I've broken some toes before.
Me either.
I've never
Yeah.
broken anything. Not even toes or fingers.
Yeah. I think I broke a finger one time, but
Yeah.
like my parents, I don't think took me to the doctor. Not because they wouldn't have, but because
Right.
I was trying to be tough and whatever. And so I currently have weird mobility issues in one of my fingers.
That makes sense.
Nice,
Yeah.
that's fun.
You're not. I feel like you want to prove this fun fact. I hate bananas. That's my fun fact. But the problem is,
That's not that fun.
all my roommates buy bananas and they leave them out, and it smells like rotting bananas all the time.
No, it does feel like ripe bananas probably. It's probably a
No,
good
when they
smell.
get all brown, and then I will open the cabinet, it's just like banana, and I'm like,
Here's my banana hot take. Bananas are best when they are pretty darn brown on the outside, but still yellow on the inside. Like, but I obviously don't want them like getting all like brown and gross on the banana itself. But when the peel is pretty brown, That's when they're best inside.
I hate when bananas are in smoothies. It ruins it because all I taste is banana.
That's true.
It's so
Such a weird taste. I don't know if I've ever met
overpowering.
somebody who just didn't like bananas.
My other roommate hates bananas, but the other 4 of them, there's 2 of us that don't like bananas. The other 4 of them all buy bananas every week. And they are everywhere.
Well, that makes this a little bit awkward because this episode of Honest to God is brought to you by Chiquita Banana. The Chiquita Banana Company brings you this episode. They're really pushing Cavendish bananas. So go out and buy your Chiquita bananas today. They're the best bananas grown from the best trees and the best places where they grow bananas. Chiquita Banana. Pick up yours today.
That's so awkward that I hate
It is
bananas.
awkward. It is awkward. Have you ever tried a Chiquita Banana?
No. Did
Well,
you know that
maybe you
bananas, like they're flavored, like people complain that they don't like bananas? Because
I know what you're going to say. Say it.
because they
Yes.
died out, like the old
Yeah.
generation of bananas, they tasted differently and they died out, and this is a different form
All
of it.
bananas now are Cavendish bananas that are a different, genetically modified breed of bananas that we created, right? That's why the seeds are really small.
Yeah.
Old bananas were much smaller with much bigger seeds, and they tasted like the banana, like Laffy Taffy flavor and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So that's like when grandma's like, these bananas don't taste the same. She's not being senile, like it's real.
Yeah. I've never had that specific
No,
problem.
my grandma didn't do that
But
either.
if I do, that's good to know. All right, that's awesome. That was really good. You didn't even burn your fun fact on liking and subscribing.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Good. I appreciate that. And Mackenzie isn't able to because she has to give us one more fun fact. Whenever you're ready.
Mine's not about myself, but my great grandmother was best friends with a German spy and had no idea.
In America?
In America.
During World War II?
Yeah, during World War II.
Really? Okay. Tell that story.
Well, basically, I guess she went, I don't know, to wherever you go to play cards. She would go play cards.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of people who would come play. And she would always play with this one guy. And they were friends and stuff. And I think they were both married to separate people. But they were friends. And then one day he just disappeared. And this was during the war. And he just disappeared and didn't come back. And then his wife showed up and was like, yeah, you know so-and-so? And my great-grandmother was like, yeah. She was like, he's a German spy.
Wait,
and he went,
her husband? The wife of the man?
yeah, the wife of the man came and was
she didn't know?
She didn't know because he came over to America and married an American and didn't tell her that he
He's
was a German
really
spy.
good German spy. What
Yeah.
a commit.
Yeah. Yeah.
the worst.
So then she was like, yeah, he's a German spy. And she was like, oh my goodness, crazy.
Did she live in a big city or near a military base? Or was he just in Iowa? Keeping the Nazis up to date on what was
I think
going
it
on?
was-
Knows what's happening in
Yeah, that's what I'm
Iowa.
saying.
I think it was Maine or New Hampshire or something.
Okay.
Maybe New England. There's probably a lot of stuff going on up there.
Do they have
But-
kids?
I don't think
we
he
need
did.
the details.
I don't
wanna
think he
know-
did.
I want way
Next
more.
time you're here, give us the
Yeah, can you
whole-
figure out the rest of that story? Because that is really good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as good as Bree's fun fact from last time about socks. I don't know why I found that so intriguing, but I really did.
Socks inside out's the way to go.
Yeah. All
And
right,
Kenzie
cool.
stole that fact.
And then Mackenzie did steal
Yeah.
that fact.
Okay, I stole it.
Does
but-
anybody know who the patron saint of socks is?
No, do you?
No, but what a great segue into our discussion, which is All Saints Day coming up. And I want to start with our confirmation saints. I think I probably mentioned this last time, so I'll start while you guys get your thoughts in order. My confirmation saint, I have no idea who he was because I did not pay attention, and I should go look it up in my parish. But when I sort of reverted to the faith, I got really invested in Ignatius of Loyola because he was just awesome and masculine and tough and self-mastery and self-denial and all of these things that really attracted me from sort of lukewarm nothingness about faith and everything, and I thought it was super cool. My favorite story about Ignatius of Loyola is when he was riding his horse, and there was a man in front of him who blasphemed the Virgin Mary, and he said a prayer to God. He said, if that man turns left, I'm going to ride him down and I'm going to cut his head off, and if he turns right, I'm going to be merciful and I'm going to forgive him in my heart. And fortunately for that man, he turned right.
Wow.
And Ignatius of Loyola did not chop his head off. But no, I want to go back and find. I really do my, because I don't know who my godparents were. I don't know a lot of that stuff, and I'm sure my parents would if I asked them. But I need to go. I want to go back to the parish where I received confirmation and find out who my confirmation saint was and thank them because I appreciate it. I feel like they were probably always there, still are in the
Pulling
wings,
for you.
praying. And after I got through all my whatever angsty, agnostic-y boringness, really happy to see me coming back. So big shout out to you,
Whoever you
confirmation
are.
saint of mine.
John Henry. I know who the patron saint of athlete socks is.
Saint Sebastian.
Yes.
Boom.
Whoa!
That's right.
Incredible.
Deep cut, ladies.
Hey.
No, I just assumed because
He's
all the boys choose
athletes.
Saint Sebastian
Yeah.
that he would have been the one for ath- But does it say socks in particular?
It says athlete socks, yes.
Okay,
What are
cool.
athlete socks? Can any socks be athlete socks if I'm an athlete and I wear
If you're
socks?
an athlete and you're wearing
think-
socks.
I think
Only if they're inside out.
If you're wearing them to play sports, I think so.
That's cool. That's good to know.
Good to know.
I like Saint Sebastian. He's fine, but he's one of the. We talked about this last month, right? Where I get real hipstery about my saints.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of these like, oh man, everybody likes that one, so I'm
Like
not
the
going to pay any
deep cut,
attention.
yeah.
Here's a deep cut saint that you've never heard of. Super cool. From Uzbekistan, you know.
Yeah.
You only know 2 things about him. That's it.
Yeah, might not have even existed. He might be one of those, but he's my favorite saint. So, all right. So confirmation saints. Who were they and why? Starting with you, Mackenzie.
Okay, my confirmation saint was Saint Maria Goretti.
Heck yeah.
And I honestly, it was like the day before I had to tell my youth minister what my confirmation saint was going to be. I was like, I have no idea. So I took a list of just like the saints that I knew, and I wrote like facts about them on sticky notes, and I just like put them up on my computer, and I just sat there. I was like, said a little prayer. I was like, Saint Maria Goretti.
And why? Why'd you pick her? Do you think?
Well, she was the patron saint of purity and of like girls, and so I just kind of related to that, and yeah, there wasn't really much more than that.
Yeah.
And like,
And that's
yeah.
a lot of them, by the way. I mean, a lot of people I find because you're being confirmed and
Exactly.
you're sort of this early teenager, whatever. And but I do think the Holy Spirit works through that in a
yeah,
big way.
like I also there was another saint that I was thinking about, but then someone I knew had just picked her, and so I was like, darn it, I can't pick her anymore. So I was like, you know what? I like Saint Maria Goretti. I'll go with Saint Maria Goretti.
All right.
Yeah.
What about you, Annie?
I picked Saint Joan of Arc, which is like such a classic.
Joan was one of the like top contenders for this baby's name. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I picked St. Joan of Arc because at the time I was just like, I really liked her story, but I was like, she's so cool. She led these people to battle. At the time I was like, she killed people and still went to heaven. Like, not true. She didn't kill anyone. But like, I was all about the like, she's tough.
She led
She
other
beats up
people to kill
microphones.
people.
Yeah, she was like tough and she was 14 and she had all this courage. And I was just like, dang, like I want to be like her. Like, that'd be so cool. So yeah, that's why I picked her. And I was like, she's like a bad, cool, like woman. And I was like, yeah. And it was cool because like other people at my school, I went to a public school in high school. And they were like, oh, someone was talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, St. Joan of Arc. And they were like, everyone like loves and like respects St. Joan of Arc. Even like non-Catholics are like, oh, she's so cool. Like,
So I always get, every time St. Joan of Arc gets mentioned, I always throw this out because I don't think, not nearly enough people know this, even if a lot of people do. Everyone should know this. Mark Twain wrote a biography of Joan of Arc that is considered like one of the premier biographies of Joan of Arc. He did all of this super sleuthing to learn everything he could about her, and he considers it his masterwork, more so than Huckleberry Finn or Tom Sawyer or Connecticut Yankee, King Arthur's Court, all those. He says Joan of Arc is like his magnum opus, and if you have not read Joan of Arc by Mark Twain, you should read it because it's fantastic, and it shows her as this real person who is like, we talk a lot about femininity and masculinity on this show, and obviously leading armies into battle tends to be something that is masculine, right? And I've been on record and gotten negative feedback on saying I generally don't support women donning armor and climbing on horses and going to chop off the heads of Englishmen, but when God tells you to, I make an exception, and her exception is what's so unique and so cool about it. I don't like how a lot of times she's now thrown in as sort of this feminist icon because that wasn't the idea. The idea was, no, this is something that I'm not naturally ordered towards, but God is asking me to do this, and that's what makes it cool. It's not her like getting in touch with her like this, her weird distorted desire to go fight in a war. It's because no, this thing that is so out of my comfort zone and something that I should not be doing and I'm not qualified for, God is giving me the strength to do this, and that's what makes her cool. I love Joan of Arc.
she was so little. Like, imagine being like, I think she was like 14, 15, like
Right.
young, going up to the king and
Yeah.
being like, yeah, I'm going to lead these people. Like, that's so cool. That's so like,
And in the Lily Sobieski version, I have problems with that movie, some problems with the movie, but the king is played by what's his name? Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
I don't know.
Come on, Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
Who does the best job of playing a schmarmy, gross French king. He does a really good job.
That makes sense.
With it. And that was a great example too of like, it's not because God wanted the French king to win necessarily. It was because God was working through her for this greater purpose. And I can spend 2 hours talking about what I think that was and why it was important that the French did what they did in that war. But we're not going to do that today. We're going to talk about Brie and her confirmation saint.
Our confirmation saint was Saint Dympha. She's the patron saint of those with like anxiety and mental disorders. And I picked her because in like 9th grade, I was just struggling with like a lot of anxiety. And I was like, I need help. And there's this person in heaven who wants to help. Pray for me.
Saint Dympha has gotten a couple of shout outs on the show in recent weeks. She was on a recent, she wasn't on here personally, but we talked about her recently when we were doing our episode on I think addiction and some of that stuff. And they were talking about Saint Dympha. I don't know her story.
Oh, it's crazy.
Can you share a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Please.
So her mom was a devout Christian. Her dad was a pagan king. They lived, I want to say in Ireland. And her mom passed away. And her dad was very deeply distraught because he just loved her so much. So he, being a king, had like servants sent them out into the land to find like a new wife for him who is as beautiful as the one he had. And they went and they're like, we can't find anybody. And
Sorry, I was not laughing at you. I was laughing at like how that problem was solved. My wife died. Go into the countryside and find
somebody.
Woman.
Yeah. So they went out. They couldn't find anybody. They come back and they're like, we can't find anybody. But what about your daughter? And so they were like, marry your daughter.
Big yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, big yikes.
And so he was obviously not in a good mental state. And he was like, yeah, like she's beautiful like my wife was. Let's do it. So St. Dympha got a word of this and decided to leave and abandon.
Good decision making skills.
Yeah. She brought a priest and 2 other people. And so they went to Belgium, Giel. They established like a hospital for the sick using her dad's money. So they were able to track her down through that. So her dad came, found her, and was like, marry me. This is your last chance. And she was like, no, I don't want to. So he just beheaded her.
Whoa. Okay.
And the priest.
Talk about daddy issues.
All right. Seriously, way to go, St. Dympha. Okay.
He beheaded her and just left her in the cave. And then the residents came in.
And now she's in heaven. So.
Which is a great example of like authentic feminine strength.
Yeah.
Of that. Yeah, that's good. My other one, and I know I brought this up before, but while this is not an episode on feminine strength and saints, but I think it's important to say one of my favorite stories about like strong women in the Bible is Saint Judith. You guys know the story of Saint Judith? Saint Judith is awesome. So she's one of those Old Testament gals, but I'm going to call her a saint because I think she's a saint. She's one of the righteous who gets brought up after the resurrection. She's a Hebrew. And they're about to be attacked by a giant army. I want to say they were Syrians. They might have been Hittites, one of those big bads from the Old Testament. And the army was led by a general named Holofernes. And Holofernes had a much larger army. He was going to wipe the floor with the Hebrews the next day in battle. Well, St. Judith gets all dolled up and goes across the lines and starts flirting heavily with Holofernes. And Holofernes, who is has some expectations of the way this evening is going to go, invites her into his tent and plies her with wine. And they drink lots of wine for a long time while hanging out in his tent. But in her wisdom, St. Judith is not drinking the wine. She's pretending to drink the wine and waits until Holofernes gets like disgustingly drunk and passes out. After he does that, she saws his head off with a sword and carries the sword back over to her own lines. You know the story?
Yeah.
And then the next day when the battle starts, like the Hebrews hold up the severed head of their general and the other army turns around and goes home. Way to go, Judith. Big fan. My mom's name is Judith too.
My grandma's name is Judith.
No way. Wait.
Mamaw Judith.
Do we have the same? Is your grandmother my mother?
I think so.
What would that make us? That would make you my niece. That'd be exciting.
Potentially.
Right? All right. Elsie, what you got?
So my patron saint, I chose her because I was like, Mom, I don't know what saint to choose. And she said, who's the patron saint of your birthday? So I Googled it, and her name is Saint Julia of Corsica.
Okay.
Or Carthage, it's both. Which is Africa, I think.
Yeah, it's that island off the coast of France and Italy. The small one.
Yeah.
Right? Sardinia and Corsica? Yeah.
I do math.
Corsica's
Yes,
the smaller one.
yes,
The small one. Yeah.
Yes, you are right. It's coming back to me.
It's great.
So she's actually like really cool. And at the time, we just had to write a little slip of information about her. And so I just put Virgin Martyr. turned it in.
That's a good all-encompassing term.
Nice.
Like, if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't know anything about your saint and you're asked, those are two good
Yeah.
ones
It's
to
a
go with.
woman saint.
Yeah.
There's a good chance
Yeah.
she's a virgin martyr.
All 4 of us, I think, are
Right.
virgin martyrs.
Virgin martyr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And it wasn't until like a year and a half ago or so where I think somebody asked me like, who was my confirmation saint? And I was like, you know what? I actually know nothing about this woman.
Okay.
And her story is it's incredible.
Tell
and
it.
so she lived in, I believe she was a royal in Africa. I could be wrong.
She was in Carthage, then North Africa.
Yeah. So she was born a royal, but then she was taken as a slave. And she was already Christian. And she had promised her virginity to God. And so her slave owner was a pagan. And she told him, hey, I want to stay virgin. I am married to Jesus. Like, this is the life I want to live. Let me live this life and I will serve you however you need me to serve you. And he respected that. And he respected her.
Oh, cool. Way to go.
But his friends would see how beautiful she was. And they would be like, how could you not, like, take advantage of her?
Right.
And he would always be like, no, like, she's special. Like, I can't do that to her, you know? And, like, so one day they got him drunk. And since she was his slave, she would come on him with these trips and stuff. And so they got her slave owner drunk, his friends. And while he was blacked out, passed out, they go onto the place that she was sleeping. And they take her and they kill her and hang her on a cross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
God bless her. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was her name?
Julia.
Okay.
Saint Julia of
Saint
Corsica.
Julia of Corsica.
Whoa.
So, all right, that's a good story. This was we're gonna maybe talk about some not martyrs here in a little bit too, but no, these are really, really good guys. I can't believe we've already burned through the first half of the show. Now we're just gonna kind of open it up, big picture, favorite saints, most interesting saints, any of that good stuff. Like I said, no pressure, but there was a pretty high bar set from last year's All Saints Day episode that was pretty fantastic. I think I just shot down, I'm sorry, I told Annie last year we had already discussed St. Drogo, patron saint of coffee and ugly people.
Imagine getting told to pray to Saint Drogo. Major insult.
Hey, but there really, it is nice that there's a saint for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And it is good.
Yeah,
It's
and the thing
important.
is, it's like he actually had like disformities, so he wasn't like
Oh,
no one's
he's actually
actually
deformed.
ugly, but like back then, you were seen differently if you
Right.
had disformities and stuff. So
Yeah, but I like how the church just rolls with it. It's like, no,
Yeah, I know.
patron saint of ugly people. That's what we're doing. All in on that one.
Gotta include everybody.
but he was
Yeah.
beautiful on the inside.
Yeah, and he's a
saint.
saint.
You
Yeah,
made it.
And it's, I was going to say, totally worth it. He's
Yeah.
fine with it. And you've got a number of those saints who, I mean, we already talked about Saint Dympha, and then Saint, was it Julie?
Julia.
Julia of Corsica, whose attractiveness is a burden, right? And ends up getting them in a bad situation. There's a lot of those,
I think
actually.
that happened with Catherine of
That's
Siena
so
too.
interesting.
Yeah, oh, I know. Who actually
She had to,
like
like,
scarred
chop
up
her hair off or
face and
something.
stuff.
Yeah.
Saint Kateri Tecumseh too, I think, had a...
She had, but
Yeah.
hers was because of smallpox.
Right. No, but I'm saying like the fact that she was so beautiful
Oh,
was a
yeah,
problem
yeah.
Oh,
for a
yeah.
little while.
Little
Something that I've
sunshine.
said to a lot of people who I've spoken with, and like sort of college age young ladies has been, hey, you know what the big problem that you actually have is that you're beautiful and interesting, and that's going to bring a whole lot of problems to your life. If you were really overweight and unattractive, life could be a lot easier. And so it's a good problem. If you got to have a problem, it's not a bad one. But hopefully it won't lead to martyrdom. But if it does, it'll lead to sanctity and
There you
or
go,
sainthood
martyrdom
and
is, yeah.
hashtag worth
Highway to
it.
heaven. Martyrdom.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump in. You mentioned before the show and at the break, Annie, the Alma family. And I would love to dig into that.
So they are a recent family that just got beatified like a couple weeks ago. There's 9 total, so it's the first full family in history to be beatified altogether. So their story is they were in Poland during World War II. So then Poland got taken over, and they were harboring Jews. So they were hiding Jews in their house. They got found out. So when they were found out, they were all shot, including the children.
Right.
And the
they're-
Jews. Well,
And
yeah.
But they shot the whole family, and then they burned their house. But among the children, the wife, the mom was pregnant.
Oh,
And they say like when they found the bodies, like the baby looked like it was just born.
yeah.
So the baby wasn't baptized. So what's really cool about this is we have no saints that weren't baptized.
Right.
So it'd be the first infant saint if they become a saint after being beatified. But that's like the road. So
Right.
hopefully that'll be the way. And they're saying it's baptism of blood. So baptism of blood meaning like
Martyrdom.
Right,
martyrdom
martyrdom.
before they could be baptized. And the baby would have been baptized because it was in a Catholic family. So like
Right.
it's just really cool. Like there's a full feeling, like 9 of them all together.
And you're like 2-year-olds or like 4-year-olds or
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. And the whole just reminder that it's cheap coming from me sitting here in an air-conditioned studio, right, talking about this. But the whole concept of martyrdom, and we read these tragic stories, and I'm sure we've already talked about martyrs on this episode, but I'm sure we're going to talk about more. But the sort of the horrors that involve in their death are really nothing in the grand scheme of things compared to the fact that they are currently with their creator forever, right? And once again, that's really easy for me to say while I'm sitting right here and comfortable and not worried about being tortured to death for my faith. But that is beautiful. That is a beautiful thing of just a reminder of the snapshot that is our existence and even our sufferings, our small sufferings, compared to what we're called to, which is unity with our creator. So
The baby doesn't even have a name. They just refer to it as the 7th child, like because it was like born. So it's like there's no name. So we could have a nameless saint,
right.
which would be so cool. Yeah.
Don't tell a bunch of teenage boys trying to be funny with confirmation saints.
Oh, that's true.
They will all pick up
name
that
is saint.
one.
But
Yeah.
a baby, imagine you have a little baby saint.
Yeah. Yeah, that's precious. I love that.
Cute.
All right, the Alma Family. And then you mentioned also St. Teresa of the Andes. I know nothing about her. I've never heard of her.
Another
So-
Carmelite.
cool.
I love St. Teresa of the Andes. Yes.
Loves talking about her.
The Carmelites are loaded with saints. That's all I'm going to say. If you were a baseball team and it was like Dominicans versus Franciscans, Carmelites are going to be the ones that win. So if you look at it, they're the most canonized saints.
We need to have a whole episode where we just argue about favorite religious orders.
Oh, please.
I think it was on this show one time when somebody said the Dominicans were founded to combat the Albigensians and the Jesuits were founded to combat the Protestants. When's the last time you met an Albigensian? I thought it was really funny.
really
That's
funny.
fair. The
Yeah.
Jesuits are fun because they were started by college roommates.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Ignatius of Loyola and who?
Francis Xavier, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then
yeah,
there's
that's
another
right. I
one.
know they were college roommates.
Yeah, there were actually 3 of them that were college roommates. And I'm like, I thought it was a joke when I heard it.
That's so relatable.
It's real.
I got a lot of egg on my face one time for arguing right after Pope Francis that he was obviously taking the name of Francis because Francis de Sales. Obviously, right? He was a Jesuit and all this stuff. Then later it came out as like, no, that's not why. It was actually Assisi.
Assisi,
And I was really embarrassed. So
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Teresa of the Andes. She was a Carmelite saint who lived not too long ago. I think it was like the 1920s is when she died. She died at the age of 19. Really, really
wow.
young. She didn't have a terrible martyrdom, though. So, I mean, that's happy.
hey, that's nice.
She went to a cloistered convent. Before that, though, her family was wealthy.
Was this in Peru?
Chile.
Or- Chile. Okay.
Yeah. Her family was wealthy. They had like a summer home. She was a beautiful soul. There was a kid who lived in her town, I think it was, who was very poor. So she would purposely like save up money to give to them. My favorite, most relatable thing about St. Teresa of the Andes is she did not like school initially. So there's a quote of her that says, "This place should burn to the ashes," in relation to the school
About
she
her
was at.
school? Okay.
Yeah, because she just did not like it. And then she ended up like loving it, making top grades, things like that. But beautiful Carmelite saint, died at the age of 19. What?
Every single week, Brie is like, should I drop out?
That's a true statement. I go into my priest's office. He's like, "How's your day going?" I'm like, "I'm sad." And he's like, "Why are you sad this time?" I'm like, "I'm still in school. Can I just drop out?" And he's like, "No."
And you're with the Catholic Center where?
Kennesaw.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
y'all are together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm excited. I'll be out there soon because that is right. David Boudreaux's out there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is where I'm going. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's like, I
Shout out
think one
Casey.
day I went without saying I wanted to drop out. And the priest at our college center was like, "This is great news. Like, this is the longest you've ever gone without saying you want to drop out."
One day.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
So,
That's fair.
yep. Teresa of the Andes, I relate to that a lot in the I want to drop out. This place should
You
burn
want
to
to
the
burn
ashes.
this place again?
I don't want to, but if it naturally happened.
You'd be okay
And
with
nobody
it.
was hurt. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Mhm.
I mean,
Teresa of the Andes, great. She has a
what-
spicy
how-
attitude.
What about her? How did she die? What was?
Oh, she died at 19.
All we know
Some
about her so far is that
sickness.
she hates school and
And
she's
died
from
at
Chile.
18.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. She was a Carmelite. She hated.
Why'd
I
she
think
die
that-
at 19? Did she?
Sickness, I think it was.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
And
very.
why was she a
sad.
saint? Do you know what miracles are associated with her? Or?
I don't know the Miracle Associated. She has a really good book that I read. It's like her autobiography. Her own book was beautiful. I think it was similar to Teresa Lisieux, like just simply loving the Lord very well.
Praise God.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really, seriously, though, like, we use the word relatable a lot
Yeah.
in the Teresa Lisieux episode, but some of the best saints. It's like, no, I didn't lead the armies to victory. No, I wasn't levitating, or the devil didn't come fist fight me at night. No, I was just a really awesome person. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's necessary because if you see saints as only being ones that bilocate, ones that have stigmata, it's like there's almost no hope. But seeing, this 19-year-old hated school and loved Jesus, okay, it's attainable for now. It's really great.
Yeah, no, I think that's really wonderful. The one thing that I always think about is how the saints that are canonized, that are officially like saints in the church, are, I mean, assuming, right, we trust in God's mercy, I assume that they are such an incredibly tiny percentage of the members of like the heavenly choirs, or the people who are actually in heaven right now. And that's beautiful. One thing I would like to get into later, we're not going to canonize people on the show, but the people that you know who are, or who have either passed or the lives that they're living, who seem like they're not going to necessarily make a liturgical calendar anytime soon, but are saintly, and what that looks like and what that means. I've got one that I really want to dig into, but I want to be careful to not say her name because she's still alive, and I don't want to embarrass her, because part of her saintliness is how obviously she would reject the label of saint, someone who's saintly. I met the daughter of St. John of Arc one time.
Her name's Jana, isn't it?
Yeah, at the Right to Life March in DC,
so cool.
like 5 years ago.
That's
she was there.
so cool.
It was really, really cool. I wish I'd talked to her more, but I mean, people were bothering her and everything.
That'd be crazy. Everyone's like literally all over her all the time, probably.
Yeah, and if you don't know that story, it's a great story,
Such
right?
a good story.
That is, Gianna Mola was pregnant, and she had cancer, right? And she needed to receive treatment for her cancer that would almost definitely kill her baby. And she refused. And she sacrificed her life for the sake of her child, who is now this beautiful woman and doing great. And she was canonized for it. And I think that's beautiful. Yeah. That's really cool.
Like, what does your mom do? Oh, she's a saint in heaven. What's your mom?
Yeah.
Stay-at-home mom. Stay in her own way.
Every time there's an argument about whose mom is better on the schoolyard. It's like, oh, that's cool. What's your mom, a doctor? Oh, that's cute. Yeah, no, my mom's in heaven with Jesus. Officially in heaven.
St. Gianna was also a doctor.
Yes.
Or
like a pediatrician,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
My mom's a doctor in heaven.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's beautiful. What else? Favorite saints? I really love getting into this. I like to hear people's thoughts.
You mentioned St. Lawrence. He has a fun story.
That's true.
Yeah.
St. Lawrence is patron saint of barbecues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I don't like know the story super well, but I know that like it was like a king or like someone like up an official, like, you know, government man, and he was like, he told St. Lawrence, he was like, bring me all the riches of the church. And St. Lawrence was like, yeah, I got you, no problem. So then he goes out into the streets and he gathers all the sick and all the poor and all the like, just like all the sad people, I guess. The suffering is a better word.
Right. Yeah. Now people have had a bad day. Yeah. Got it.
All the sick
My day's gotten a lot worse since you're dragging me to this castle with the lepers to put me in front of the king.
So he takes him before the king and he's like, these are the riches of the church. Which is like, he meant it, you know, like St. Lawrence was like, these are the riches of the church. Like, these are our riches. And the king was like, are you kidding me?
Okay, but
like,
do you think there was like a little bit, like I feel like St. Lawrence
probably
knew
a little. He
there was
knew
some
it was
passive
gonna be-
aggression going on there.
Oh,
like,
100%.
did it? Here you go.
here's the riches of the church. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to burn you alive now. So he literally gets him like over like, I think it was a grill. And he's like burning him, charring him. Literally the whole time St. Lawrence is getting burned alive. He's laughing and cracking jokes. At one point, he's like, turn me over. I'm done on this side. And they flip him over. And then I think right before he dies, he's like, I'm cooked. And then he
I think
died.
those were his last words.
Yeah, I think his last words are, I'm cooked.
Yeah.
But he was just like so, like obviously had so many graces because how else would you be able to endure such suffering with such joy? But like, he was just laughing and like cracking jokes. And imagine you're burning someone. They're like, yeah, I'm done. Like, turn me over.
But my favorite part though is that the church then made him the patron saint of like cookouts.
Yeah.
And barbecues,
With
yeah.
I think he's actually the patron saint
There's
of
a
barbecues.
brand of grills called Lawrence Grills, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
I see. That's
Wow.
so cool. Church has got a good sense of humor. Dig
I
that.
know.
There's a lot of those. I think the last time we did an All Saints Day episode, we just went through all these like awesome saints' deaths and the way that these people died. And like, I don't know what this speaks to about my own temperament or whatever. But every time I hear one of those stories, I always think about the guys who are killing the guy and like how irritating it has to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When, or like St. Maximilian Kolbe, you're starving him to death. And he's like, you know what we should do, guys? We should just like sing songs of praise to the Lord while we're here together.
Yeah.
And how you're like the awful Nazi prison guard just sitting out the door. Just like, come on.
Could you
come
be
on.
miserable, please?
Guys, can you at least pretend like you're sad?
It's
Right?
like, I don't know which is worse, you singing or me having to listen to it.
Yeah.
And it must be like torture for them too, because the whole point they're doing is to like torture the individual.
Right.
And it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
the individual is not getting tortured.
Yes.
And it's like, why am I doing this if they're not even
They're not even at
losing
least
their
being in a
dignity?
bad mood, man.
I wonder how many saints in the process of being martyred had joy that the people were like, this is pointless, I'm done.
Right.
We wouldn't know.
Well, I wonder how many like conversions and stuff come
Yeah.
from that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Who's
so
the
true.
saint who stabs the
Saint
heart of Christ?
Longinus.
Yeah, Saint Longinus, who's there while at Christ's crucifixion, is the guy who actually thrusts the spear.
Yeah.
Pierces the side of Christ.
And his eyes were healed. He had like blindness and the blood and water that
Dang.
Yeah.
it touched his eyes, and he actually converted, and that's how he became a saint.
Are you kidding me? Like that's got to be the. Yeah, it's so. I think the Orthodox count Pilate. They say that Pilate is a saint. And
Really?
he had a conversion later on. Yeah.
Interesting.
So once again, there's the Orthodox, but I don't know. Maybe one day we join up. I don't know that whole story, and
Right, that'd be
but
ideal.
y'all seriously, that's one of my big thing. I don't want to go off on that right now. Like y'all have seen my truck. It's the one that's parked out there that has a big sticker on the back that says "Make Istanbul Constantinople Again." I have so much. Like I love our Orthodox brothers and sisters, and I do feel like we're this close. We're just hanging out, y'all. Let's just come on. Let's just make this happen.
Yeah.
Once again, big shout out to the Byzantines, the Melkites, the Marianites, and all those who have made that happen. Like, come on, the rest of y'all, it's great. Y'all swim the Tiber.
You can keep your beards.
The water is fine. Keep your beards. Y'all look awesome. I'm all about it.
You can keep fasting too. Just
So-
come.
Cool.
Yeah, they do 90% of that stuff better than we do anyway.
Oh, yeah.
All that, yeah. All right, what else? Big saints, big interesting saints, people you want to dig into.
Kinsey was talking about Blessed Kiara, but not.
Okay, so there's like a couple.
cool.
So she was one on the the last month when we were talking
The
about
cards.
Yeah, the cards.
Yeah, and she's beautiful.
Yeah, well, she's the one with like
got
the
the eye
eye
patch,
patch.
yeah.
Yes. So there's like
And
two,
laughing,
I guess.
like-
There's two
smiling.
different Blessed
Yes.
Kiaras that are both
And
like,
I'm not-
within the recent years.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
almost positive she's blessed. I'm
She
pretty
is.
sure.
I think
Okay.
she's blessed.
Tell the story. Yeah, I really want to
the other
Well,
one.
I don't know
so
which one's which.
she was like on a trip with her sister, I think, and then, or no, she went and met up with her sister who is visiting Medjugorje.
This was in 2002.
This is in
Whoa.
2002.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know when she was born.
died
but it was, like,
2012.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes. So this was like
So there's colored pictures of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she ended up like meeting up with her sister in Medjugorje, and she met this guy who was doing a pilgrimage in Medjugorje, and then they ended up coming back, and they ended up like dating for 6 years, and they like dated, and then they like broke up, and then they got back together, and that whole thing.
Dang it.
And then they ended up getting married,
Oh.
and then they had 2 babies, and both of them. Well, I don't know if they had more.
I think
it
it just had
the
the two.
Both of them died like pretty soon after.
One and a
birth.
half hour after they were born, the other one a couple days.
Yeah.
Like, she was told like when she was pregnant that they had like different
Malformities or
different
whatever.
malformities and
Yeah.
things, or like that they wouldn't survive, and I think she was encouraged to like terminate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because like the one that only lived a half hour, like they knew it was the baby was only going to live for like
Yeah. Oh.
minutes, but they can obviously continued and had the baby.
So she had, I guess someone had told her that it would have been just better if the babies weren't even like, if they never existed, I guess.
Yeah.
And she
Oh.
was like, how could you say that? Because
Right.
they're like, those are her children. And she just talked about how God gave them to her for such a short amount of time, but she like loved them so much, and like how much of a blessing it was to be able to like carry them for those 9 months and then like give them back to the Lord.
Oh.
And so she kind of talked about the video that
I know.
and then she ended up I don't know if it was cancer, but she became terminally ill, and then she lost her sight, I guess, and that's why she has the eye patch.
And the
Or
only
maybe
picture
one
I've
of
ever
her
seen
eyes.
of
I
her
don't
is
know.
her like
Laughing with an eye
with
patch.
on.
Yeah. And so then she ended up passing away. But
Whoa, I did not know that story at all. I'd only seen the picture. I knew that she was a new-ish saint. I didn't know she was like last decade new saint.
Pretty recent.
Whoa. Do we have Yelp reviews from her?
I don't know. We can start finding
Was
out.
that this episode or was that last month?
Last month.
That was
Okay,
last month.
we're talking about how we're going to have these saints who we're going to have like their online presence we're going to be able to see and read.
2012, the internet was out, YouTube was out.
Let's check out the LinkedIn account of some
Blessed
saint.
Carlo Acutis had his website.
Yeah.
Miracles. So
Yeah. Have y'all seen I guess the pictures of the incorrupt body of Carlos Acutis in his like blue jeans and New Balance sneakers, and he looks really, really good. Like for somebody who's been dead for a while.
Yeah. I thought you were just commenting on his looks. You're like, that must have been a burden. He was so attractive.
Yeah, that's a picture. Thank you. Sorry, a call from the void to my right. The endless nothingness that is Show Notes Benny just made an image appear of Saint Kiara.
Or blessed.
Blessed Kiara.
Can't wait for an Xbox controller to be a relic.
Whoa.
Whoa, but like for real
It
though,
could happen,
right?
yeah.
Like Carlos Acutis' computer and stuff.
they
would
say
be-
he like played Xbox.
Is it? Yeah, either Xbox
Oh no,
or
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
imagine
That's better.
going
PlayStation.
like trying to tell people, the Catholic Church is one church. Like, here's the relics we have. No, that's a PlayStation controller.
Yeah.
That's a relic.
You have like
Like,
St.
yeah.
Helena's like true cross and all
Yeah.
that. And then you've got
Somebody's skull.
yeah.
Xbox controller.
This is a copy of Crash Bandicoot. Like, yeah, no man. It's real.
Welcome to the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. And I've loved this. I've loved what maybe it's a trend, might not be the right word, but just in the whole canonization thing of these mass numbers of saints, where they'll say like, okay, all these martyrs from this, right? The Georgia martyrs were one from a while back.
Yeah.
Or all these martyrs from this Vietnamese prison camp or whatever. They were all martyred for their faith, and they're all saints. I think that's really cool. There's a Vietnamese church in Montezuma, Georgia, little bitty town in Montezuma, Georgia. And it was a mission church that I went to one time because of like a mass, whenever their masses were scheduled. And they had the Vietnamese martyrs in there. And once again, this is like nothing but peanut and cotton fields everywhere. And then there's this little bitty town. And in this little bitty town, there's an itty bitty church. And I walked in, I was expecting just kind of like I don't know, like one of your like South Georgia tiny churches. I grew up in South Georgia, and there's a lot of these little churches. And I walked in, and every picture, every like icon, they're all Vietnamese, including they've got like Vietnamese Jesus up there, which by the way, I'm all about. People give people a hard time for not making Jesus looking like anatomically correct for a Jewish guy in the Middle East. Like, no, I'm all about like African Jesus in Africa and Japanese Jesus in
We
Japan.
have Mary. We have every different kind of Mary.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. But anyway, so I'm sitting in this church and I read this thing about the Vietnamese martyrs, and it was a similar thing. They had all of these martyrs who were martyred by the Vietnamese government. And then they had another set of Vietnamese martyrs who were martyred by, I think, the Chinese when they were there. And they were all brought into the church at once because they were all
That's so
killed
cool.
for their faith. It's so cool. It's so beautiful.
It is really cool. I think there's a sense of pride in me. And then I told someone we were driving somewhere, I was like, I refuse to die with you because I don't want it to be Saint You and Companion. I want to be named.
Don't get me started.
it's pride.
St. Cosmas and Damien, when we used to do like our, St. John Paul II, pray for us.
Yeah.
St. Therese, pray for us. I would always make a point of saying, St. Cosmas, pray for us. St. Damien, pray for us. Because I think they're sick of it. I think they're up in heaven like, come on, man. Like,
Separate us.
and then Damien's always like, well, I'm always second. Why can't it be St. Damien and Cosmas?
Yeah.
Like,
This is kind of on a tangent. But you know, Eucharistic prayer when they're like, Linus, Sixtus, Cornelius.
yes.
There's like a joke in my house that's like our baby names list. like Linus,
awesome.
Sixtus,
That's amazing.
Cornelius. Like imagine a little baby named Sixtus or
Yeah,
Cornelius.
Sixtus, Sextus, Cornelius, whatever, just going down. Yeah.
Linus, Cletus. Yeah.
Clemens.
Clements.
Cletus. We used to have a Cletus at
Yeah.
youth group. Remember Cletus?
yeah,
Yeah, he was the man.
he was.
And he broke his
I did
arm
not
one
break his
time.
arm.
You did, though. Like,
That's the second time this is brought up on air.
Well, it's okay. Then we're done. We don't need to rehash it. Go check out one of our old episodes. On your
Watch
way
them
there.
all till you find the story.
Yeah, watch them all, like all of them. And then when you find us mentioning Annie breaking a guy's arm at youth group, make sure that you subscribe to Honest to God on AM 1160 The Quest, Atlanta's Catholic radio.
Comment the
Elsie,
timestamp.
what you got over there? You've been quiet. Give us the saint story. What are you thinking?
So, okay, Saint Hildegard of Bingen.
Okay.
She's so cool. Like so Apple Music got this new thing called like classical or whatever, and they have a whole playlist of everything that she composed. And then I was like, I need to learn more about this woman.
Right.
And I was listening to this podcast, and there's a story of when she was trying to start her own order, her superior monk or whatever didn't want her to. So she went to the archbishop anyways and was like, hey, I want to start my own order. Can you please let me leave this place with my sisters? And the archbishop was like, yeah, go ahead. But her like head monk was like, no, he's not allowed to tell you to leave. Mm-hmm. So she was like, God, I know you want me to do this. So God literally paralyzed her for 4 days until her head monk came and begged her for forgiveness and was like, if you are healed, you can go and start your own order.
What?
And in that moment, she like stood up.
Right.
So it's crazy.
God is really good at thinking outside the box. That was good, God.
I would have been like, you were faking it the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. My thought.
That's what everybody thought.
Yeah.
Did she
Everybody
do one of
thought
those
she was
things where she
faking
like
it.
was on the ground flat and then like jumped straight up?
Probably.
That would have been cool. It's like,
So scared, like when
Probably.
he just levitates up, takes no
Yeah.
force.
wait, okay, so that's Saint Hildegard?
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't know that story at all. That's
Yeah.
super cool.
She's so cool. And she was also like in an anchorage.
Anchorage, I think.
Anchorage? Something like that.
What's that?
It's like a room attached to a church where like you only have like a window to the church and a window to the outside.
And you stay there.
And that's where she stayed for like 30 years.
You
Whoa.
anchor yourself to the church
You
and you just
anchor
pray.
yourself to the church
Right.
and pray. And that's people
wild.
would come and visit her and talk to her through her little window.
Right.
That's how she started her order. It was when she wanted to leave that she was paralyzed.
That is wild.
Yeah.
That is a really cool story.
really
Nobody
cool.
anchors himself to churches anymore.
I know.
I told
What
the
has come?
CFRs
What
in
has
New York
come?
that I would do it.
You want to do it?
I told them I would, the CFRs in New York.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll do it. I just need space.
And they said no.
Just get me a little
No, they
room.
encouraged it, and then I think I was like,
Oh, come on.
hey, I still have time.
Yeah,
You
that's
do.
true. That's fair.
Let me get my degree first, so
She
that I don't
can't
burn the
drop
place
out.
to the ashes, and then I can do it.
So in the time we have left, I do want to throw this one out there because this is something that comes up a lot. I like talking about media and all this. I really like movies. Best Saints movies. And you can't say the Lily Sobieski Joan of Arc movie.
What about
Okay.
what
Mine
was
is Fatima.
Fatima?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I love that movie.
I have it. I have it at my house, but I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
we know it's really good.
it? The only one I've seen, and I don't know if it's my favorite, is what is it? Man for All Seasons.
That was going to be mine. Y'all, Man Up for All Seasons won the like 1960 something Best Picture award.
I need to
It shows
rewatch
you
it.
how our
Really?
culture has changed. Yeah.
Wow.
And it is such a good movie. Don't watch it with your kids because they'll think it's super boring. But if
Yeah.
you
I
watch,
watched it when I was a kid, so that's
We were
why
like
I'm
seventh
like,
grade, and it was for an assignment for
An
school.
assignment.
Yeah, it's
so
like
we
3
watched
hours
it.
long,
Yes, and
and-
I remember being like, people
I was like, I'd rather read a book.
this?"
right. I love that movie. It's so good. They really dig into but you just have to pay attention to lots of dialogue and lots of everything. But that's the story of St. Thomas
I'll
More.
rewatch it.
And yeah, you should totally rewatch it. I've got it at the house. I'll loan it to you the next time.
Movie night. Everyone go to John Henry's.
No, don't go to my house.
You're right.
You don't wanna
With
be
the
in my
rats.
house with the rats. You don't want to be in there right now.
And your 5 children.
Those of you who are just tuning in, we're not living in my rat-infested house. We left my rat-infested house, and we're currently
Wow.
living in a not rat-infested cabin where there's no vermin. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, seriously, check out Man for All Seasons. What else? Favorite Saint movies?
I don't have a favorite.
You can jump in
Saint
front, I'll say,
movie.
too.
I have not seen very many.
I don't have a favorite movie, but Trust of the Andes has a show on Formed.
Who does?
Trust of the Andes.
Really?
Oh, Tres of the Andes.
Yeah,
that show on
and it's
Four?
really good. It's in Spanish, but you
Aw.
can subtitle it, or you can learn Spanish.
Has everyone seen Jose
Maria Sorrell.
Marissa, what is that his name?
Del Rio. That
Sanchez
one.
Del Rio. He has
Oh.
a movie,
No.
and yeah, I don't know. A lot of people talk about it being really good. I haven't seen it, but everyone I know
I'm
has seen
sorry,
it.
who's that? Remind me.
The one who got his feet, the soles of his feet
shaved
cut
off.
off.
The little boy
Yeah.
who was
I can't do
martyred.
that. I would cry.
So, in that same vein, if you haven't seen For Greater Glory, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so
This
good.
is like the third time this comes up for me to watch it. I'm like, okay.
Have you never seen it? It's very good.
No.
And it's the whole story of the Cristeros Rebellion in Mexico,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is so
It-
awesome and
crazy.
inspiring as just, basically the Mexican government's trying to get rid of the church, and a bunch of the Catholics say, yeah, we're not going to do that. And they take up arms against the government. They fight a civil war to protect the right for them to be Catholic. It is so cool. And
Yeah.
it's like big name actors. It's not like a cheesy, like low budget movie. It's really well done.
Has anyone seen the new Padre Pio movie?
No.
That's Shia
Shia
LaBeouf.
LaBeouf?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Is it good?
Has
Have
no
you
one else seen it?
No,
No.
you-
You saw it?
Oh,
give us a review.
no,
right
I
now.
haven't.
Go.
Not that one. I thought we were talking about Father Stu for a second.
Oh yeah,
Never mind.
Oh,
But
okay.
he's
I didn't see the Padre Pio one yet. Never mind. I take it back.
So one of the big rules of radio and
Don't
podcasting
lie.
is you don't explain memes on the air, but I'm going to explain this one. My buddy sent me this, and it was a clip from that Padre Pio movie, and it says, when I'm on a first date with a new girl, and she tells me that she's spiritual but not religious, and it's Shia LaBeouf yelling at this girl as Padre Pio, saying, "Say Christ is Lord! Say Christ is Lord! Shut up! Get out! Get out!" So that is my only experience with the movie.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Mostly because of the whole story of Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Converting,
As a
yeah.
result of that movie and his big conversion.
You could throw the Chosen in there. All the saints and the Chosen.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where the Chosen is just cheating. It's so good. It's better than it has any right to be. I had such low expectations going in. I thought it was going to be cheesy Christian media, whatever. And it blows me away. I own all the seasons on Blu-ray. I love everything about it.
Makes you cry every episode.
oh yeah.
Every episode, all of them are just amazing. I don't know how they do that. And then the guy who plays Jesus, like, he has
Jonathan
replaced
Rumi.
Jim Caviezel as Jesus in my head, which
Yeah.
is hard to do because
Yes.
Jim Caviezel was my Jesus forever.
No, I have to work on, not like when I'm praying and I like try and picture Jesus. I have to work on getting him out of my head and thinking of like an image of Jesus. Or
Well, this will
something.
make it harder for
And
you.
not this guy.
My spiritual director, the background on his phone is that guy as Jesus.
Jonathan Rumi?
Yeah. It's him dressed
That
as
is so
Jesus with his
funny.
hands out. He's like, it helps me to have a face to look at.
That's
I really
fair.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you don't
associate
No, I don't
him
think
with
about
God. Yeah.
putting him.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
And can you imagine the burden that's got to be for him, like as a
Yeah.
man, to be portraying our Lord?
And he also played Jesus in the Jesus Revolution. So like, or no, he didn't
Oh,
play
he
Jesus.
wasn't.
but
He was just in
He
it.
was in
played-
it.
yeah.
He's in it.
Years,
I
yeah.
didn't see that movie. Is that
Whoa, wait,
He's
I actually
Catholic,
forgot
too.
about that.
It
good? I
was,
know he's
John-
like
he's cool.
legit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
serious
Catholic.
about
He
his
spoke
faith,
at Seek.
we watched Jesus Revolution.
And I think he spoke at the March for Life in
That's pretty
DC
good.
this past year.
That's awesome.
But that could be a lie.
That's awesome. No, I'm going up there this year. I'll be at the March for
Sure.
Life this year in January.
Nice.
Yeah, are you going?
Exciting.
I hope so.
Are you guys gonna stay with my in-laws again?
Oh, that was fun.
They stay with my in-laws.
In their school.
We did.
Yeah, cool.
It was nice. The librarian came in and kicked us out.
Did she? Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. She had a school to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So we are about out of time. We're actually past out of time. This probably won't make it on the radio, but we are going to finish up with loaded questions, Junior, because what else would we do? How else would we end the show? We can't do it. So, LC, this is your first time doing this. Basically, you pick your favorite of these questions and answer it. It's a card game for children. So it's super exciting. I'm going to go first. I never go first. I'm going to go down and look at these. Oh, this is easy. What cool thing? No, I'm sorry. What is your favorite cereal? That's what I'm going with because I have really strong cereal opinions. The only right answer is the OG Captain Crunch original, straight up. You gotta, no.
No
100%.
crunch berries.
No crunch berries.
Not peanut butter, Captain
Not
Crunch.
peanut butter. I mean, I'll do it. Any Captain Crunch is better than no Captain Crunch, but it's the best. And it makes my whole mouth feel like somebody just took steel wool and rubbed it around in there afterwards. I don't know why it shreds the inside of my mouth, but it's Captain Crunch. That's the right answer. And you can disagree with me, but you're wrong. We're not opening this up to discussion, Bree, so stop shaking your head and looking at me like you're disappointed.
I
wasn't-
choked on
It's
Captain
fact.
Crunch as a
That-
kid, and it scared me, and I'm afraid to eat it now.
No, Captain Crunch is
It
the right
scratched my
answer.
throat.
You
It does
deserved
scratch
it.
your throat.
It was your fault,
After-
not Captain Crunch's
It was
fault.
my fault. I didn't inhale
Captain
it.
Crunch, you know, your mouth is like all tingly and
It,
like
like,
numb and
rips it
scratched.
Yeah.
Why do you enjoy that?
Totally worth it.
Pretty bubbles.
It tastes
No, I don't
so
like
good.
that part.
No,
I'm
it's but it's
Then
worth
it can't
it.
be the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. No, it's still better. Despite the fact that it causes physical injuries, it is still better than all other cereals. End of discussion, Mackenzie.
Oh no, I was hoping I'd go last. These are really bad. What would you do if you're the only person on Earth?
That's a great question. That's not bad. That's really good.
I have literally no answer. The only thing I can think about is like doing things like
Yeah, good. Yeah,
that, are,
for sure.
that I'm not allowed to do.
Like what?
I don't
Skip the
know.
line at Disney World.
Yeah, but no one would be there.
Oh, that's
Tough.
Yeah, you couldn't
So that's why I'm
operate
like
the
trying to
roller
think of
coaster.
things like that
No.
where it's like wrong.
Ride and drive a police car around.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
My answer is touch all the art I'm not allowed to touch in
Whoa.
museums.
I want to do that.
I
Then
wanna-
I could steal things.
I want to like you do what I would have my house decorated with famous works of
But
art.
you
You
just
just take
decorate
any
it
house at
that'd
that
be
point.
fine.
That would
Wouldn't
be
they
suffering
lose their
though. You
value
would be
because there wouldn't be anybody else there to
That's
add
true.
the value.
Yeah,
I know, I'd
it's
be
just a
super sad and
rebellious
depressed,
streak.
but it'd be cool.
for like a day.
I would have a dog. obviously.
All the
Multiple.
dogs.
Might as well have multiple dogs.
Yeah.
You gotta keep dogs alive. After your dog dies, you won't have another one.
Well,
Adam all
dogs
over
make
again.
more dogs.
Oh, that's
Like,
true.
I'd
Yeah,
find
if you
another
saw the
dog.
animals and
Yeah, it's
stuff.
not like all the dogs die too. They're
I mean,
just-
You gotta redomesticate them though.
yeah, that's fair. Fine, maybe I'd get a couple of dogs.
You
so I
can
could breed
train
to make
them.
new dogs.
So-
Like, yeah.
All right, that's fine. You're right though. It does limit your options. Like
Yeah,
if the
'cause it's
question
like-
were, what would you do if you and your my wife were the only two people left in the world? Then it would be a lot more.
Then
of a
she could run the
discussion.
Disney rides for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. What you got, Annie?
I don't really like my questions either. But what chore do you not mind doing? I'm gonna go on to say I mind doing all chores.
No, that's not. That's not.
What chore do I not mind doing? I guess probably washing dishes. I don't
That was
really.
gonna be mine.
I hate doing laundry with a passion because here's my problem with laundry. This is not the question, but I'm going to tell you my
Yeah,
problem
let's
with
go.
laundry. My problem with laundry is it takes all day. If I go sit there and I do the dishes, I can do it in one sitting, done. But laundry, you have to put it in the washer. You got to wait till it's done. You can't let it sit in the washer too long or then it gets all smelly. Then you have to move it to the dryer. You have to be there when it dries pretty much immediately or else it gets wrinkly because it dries. You have to be there to fold it and then folding takes so long. The only good thing about laundry is it smells really good.
I was gonna say I think you've got too high of a standard.
Yeah.
I think stinky, kind of wrinkly clothes. Not because it's not stinky. It's just like, oh, you should have taken that out faster.
Yeah.
Like, that's a small price to pay to not lose your.
But
whole
like
weekend.
currently, I did my laundry on Monday and I have a unfolded clothes in my hamper still.
Yeah. Pro tip: here's what you do. You don't worry about when you take them out. But then when you take them out, if it's something that needs to not be wrinkly, you just hang it up in the bathroom when you take a really hot shower.
I've done that, yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about
Steams,
ironing.
yeah.
That's what I do whenever I go somewhere. Like when I pack my suitcase, I just shove all my stuff in there. Then I hang my shirt up on a hanger in the shower and I turn it on super hot while I'm brushing my teeth and stuff. The room steams up. Then I take the shower. By the end, I just give it a little tug. Everything straightens
I
out.
think I just have PTSD from being a family of 10 and doing 4 loads of laundry a day.
I love
And it was
doing dishes.
it was just literally folding all day.
I
long.
do dishes while listening to Gulag Archipelago. It's the book I'm listening to right now. And I love it. Everybody leaves me alone. And I just do the dishes and I clean the whole kitchen and it's
Yeah.
the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What you got over there? You ready, Bree?
Yeah, we're trading cards.
What?
Because this one's better.
Ah.
What do you hope to never do again? School. I hope it burns to
Ever?
ashes.
Okay. But you're going to on Monday. But you hope not to. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, Elsie, what you got?
So one of the questions on my original card,
Oh, do we need it back? They're mixed.
no, it was what do people say you look like? So me and my sister, actually the two of my sisters, everybody says we look the same,
Okay.
and so
Are they
like
older or younger?
we're all 4 or 5 years apart.
I think you were going to say she's an identical twin.
People will think like we've gone to like the grocery store and people are like, "Are y'all twins?" And we're like, "No."
I think going back to The Chosen, you kind of look like Eden from The Chosen. That's what I thought when I saw you.
That's a huge
It was
compliment.
a compliment. Yeah, she's beautiful.
She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Like I actually want to name my first daughter Eden because of her.
After Eden from The Chosen?
Yeah.
After Peter's wife? Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
because of The Chosen. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, now producer Ben, what you got?
Not producer Ben. What is the most amazing thing you think will happen when you're older? I am older.
Well, you can get older.
Well, I hope so.
Is there-
And at this point in my life, I think grandkids.
Okay,
I
there
think
you
that'll
go.
be the most amazing thing.
That's good. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm an only child, and my parents were they didn't think they were going to have very many grandkids, and I've been doing everything I can to prove them wrong. So big shout out to Pat and Judy. I'm doing my best. 5 grandkids and counting.
You
Sure,
go,
rock.
Pat and Judy.
Yeah, they're pretty great. All right,
met
ladies
them.
and gentlemen, that is all the time we have today. We're about 10 minutes over, so you're probably not listening to this on the radio. But if you are, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. We appreciate all of you, dear listeners. Thank you, Elsie. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Mackenzie. Void of nothingness to my right. Always appreciate you. Show notes, Benny, and not producer Ben.
Not
We love
producer
you.
Ben.
We'll have producer Ben back on the air soon. I'm John Henry, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been Honest to God on AM 1160 The Quest, Atlanta's Catholic Radio. Not producer Ben.
What do I say again?
Signing off.
Signing off.
Over and out.